So 2022 is quickly coming to a close, and one of my most anticipated games for this year is Sonic Frontiers. Sonic Frontiers comes out on October 8th, and I've been watching this game like a lot of people have been, and I honestly feel like this is potentially the most important Sonic the Hedgehog game ever, at least in the last decade plus. This game has a lot to live up to. There are lots of lofty expectations with it, and this could be a real sort of turning point for Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, you're not going to get an in-depth analysis on Sonic Frontiers in this video because I don't really do things like that. I'm just a Sega fanboy at heart. I grew up with the Sega Genesis. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, and let's be real, the past 20 plus years haven't been exactly easy for Sonic the Hedgehog. There have been some really cool games, do not get me wrong. There's been some really fun games. There's been some of the best Sonic games, such as Sonic Mania, that we've ever gotten. But when it comes to the new big sort of quote-unquote AAA Sonic the Hedgehog games, the ones that sort of advance the franchise, ever since the Sonic Adventure series, I don't really think there's been a game where you could be like, okay, this is what Sonic is going to be going in the future. This is how the franchise is going to play out. And you had so many games, you know, games like Sonic Colors, which was pretty good. And then you had games like Sonic 06 and Sonic Boom, The Rise of Lyric, and God, you know, Sonic Forces, which I didn't even hate Sonic Forces. I didn't think it was necessarily a bad game. I thought it was pretty average. The whole create a character thing was kind of weird and out of place, I felt. But Sonic Frontiers looks like the game that Sonic the Hedgehog needs. It looks like the sort of almost a reboot of the franchise, which you could sit there and say that there's been several reboots throughout, you know, time for the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. Of course, you have the whole 2D and 3D style games as well. I'm talking about the 3D stuff here. The 2D stuff is fine. The 2D stuff has always been fine when it comes to Sonic games. I mean, Sonic Generations was really good as well. So I've never been worried about the 2D ones. It's been the 3D ones that are the cause for, you know, concern. And I just feel like there's a lot of positive things going on with this game. Now, the initial revealing of this game was absolutely piss poor. Absolutely piss poor. Sega decides, okay, let's work with IGN and show like different segments of the game and stuff like that. Like, oh, look, here's 7 minutes of running around in a field. And it's like, well, why am I running around in this field? What am I doing in this field? What is exactly going on within this field? And like, they didn't really explain anything. And they showed all the different mechanics of the game sort of separated instead of just doing one sort of long, proper trailer. So right off the bat, people were already down on this game, and I tried to sit there and be like, yo, don't do that. All right, I have faith in this game. I don't know what it is about this game that I have faith in, but I have faith in this game. Let's see how it all plays out. Of course, we've gotten subsequent trailers since then, which really sort of flesh out the game. The game has been available hands-on for lots of people at different gaming events, and it seems like the whole general consensus of this game is now pretty positive. It seems like everyone that has been playing this game, including Sakurai from the Smash Brothers franchise, has really loved what they've played from this. They think it's actually a good 3D Sonic game, that proper evolution that we've all been waiting for. And let's be realistic, as big as Sonic the Hedgehog was in the 90s, you can make a case. You can make a very strong case that the past, 4 years have been his biggest rise to prominence, at least in a very long time, because of the success of the Sonic the Hedgehog movies. These movies are critically acclaimed movies. The fans love them, critics love them. They're making bucks at the box office and stuff like that. So there's a lot of buzz, a lot of notoriety for Sonic the Hedgehog right now. And that's why I think this game becomes so important for the franchise, because really at this point, it's do or die. It's do or die, and that puts a lot of pressure on, of course, Sonic Team and all that stuff. I completely understand that, and maybe that's a little bit of an over-exaggeration for some people, but I just feel like how many sort of mediocre to bad 3D Sonic games can we get until we realize, hey, maybe this just isn't working out. Maybe Sonic will never advance. There's a new Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon coming out as well. Like, this is the biggest Sonic has been, especially on a main stage, than he's been in a very, very long time. So the execution of this game, I think, is going to be very important. The execution of how everything looks, and really everything I've seen from this game, besides the elongated previews that IGN did, when it came to actual game trailers that blended in the story, blended in the exploration aspect, blended in the zones that you're going to visit in that look like a more Sonic Adventure style game, I think it looks freaking phenomenal. I think it looks great. Now, people have been noticing that some of the levels are based basically on like previous levels and like even the item placement and stuff like that, so it sort of plays out the same way. Maybe that's just a one-off thing, you know, it's just for like a certain area to sort of give you that nostalgic feeling, and then it expands into another area. But I think all of that stuff blended together looks absolutely phenomenal. It looks like a fun game. There's puzzle mechanics in the game as well. I hope they don't go too crazy with the puzzle mechanics, honestly. You know, fine, sprinkle them in, you know, that's cool, but don't get too crazy. But, you know, a lot of people look at this and they're like, this is a Breath of the Wild moment for Sonic the Hedgehog. This is a Super Mario I'm not really 64, because I guess Sonic Adventure would be Super Mario 64. Let's say Super Mario Odyssey. This is a Super Mario Odyssey moment for Sonic the Hedgehog. Sega themselves say that it'll take 20 to 30 hours to just complete the main game. That's not doing all the completionist stuff that goes along with it. There's a lot of additional stuff, a lot of additional things to find within this game, and like, I don't know. My anticipation grows for this game. You know, every time I see a new trailer or hear a new song, like that freaking song that they released, they're like, all right, this is the theme song of it. And everyone was like, oh, it's not Crush 40. Bro, this sounds like Veil of Maya to me. Like it's a little bit on the emo side of things, but that song freaking slaps, bro. And people are like, oh, it's just a 2000s emo song. It's like, no, if you play guitar, you can hear that like they're in like drop A with this, okay? Emo bands aren't doing drop A. Like there's some chugging in there. And I want to hear that full song because I really like that song. I think it's freaking badass. But I'm excited for this game, man. I think my excitement is just kind of like showing as I talk about this because I want Sonic the Hedgehog to be great. You know, I was the kid playing the Sega Genesis games, buying Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine simply because Dr. Robotnik was attached to it. I didn't know what the hell Puyo Puyo was. I was a kid buying Sonic Spinball because Sonic the Hedgehog was freaking cool. He was cool. He was on top of the 16-bit genre. Sonic the Hedgehog was more popular than Mario was at one point in time. And just to see how everything went wrong on the Sega Saturn and we never got a proper Sonic game, and then sort of the resurgence on the Dreamcast, and then Sega leaving the home console market and sort of struggling to find their footing with the 3D Sonic game. This has been going on for decades now. But I feel like it's finally time. I feel like this is going to be a special game. And I mean, let's be realistic. Sonic the Hedgehog fans, let me talk to you real quick. If this game is a 7 out of 10, we're rejoicing in the streets. A 7 out of 10 3D Sonic game, we're rejoicing in the streets. If I see a 70 on Metacritic, perfect. That's what we can hope for right now with this. Like I don't think anyone's necessarily expecting 10 out of 10 Game of the Year nominations. We just want a fun, good 3D Sonic game. I will probably review this game on the Nintendo Switch because there's already been questions about the performance of that version of the game. I will probably buy it on other platforms, you know, depending on what they, you know, how it's received and how it plays out. But I'm excited for this game, man. And I know this video is kind of just a lot of fluff, and it's just a dude sitting in front of a camera talking about sort of his voyage with Sonic the Hedgehog, but I want to see this, man. I really want to see this. I want Sonic to come back full force. I've always thought he was a cool character. You know, he had 2 cartoons, bro. He had 2 cartoons running simultaneously. Like, that's freaking, that takes some balls, bro. You had the chili dog with Jaleel White, and then you had the darker one. Sonic, he could really move. Sonic, he's got an attitude. Whatever. Let me shut up here. I'm excited for this game. I am super stoked for this game. I'm trying to get a review copy of this game because I want this game to be good. I want this game to succeed. I want Sega to be great again. And I feel like this is a huge step in the right direction. If this game is good, it's going to sell. Even if it's bad, it's going to sell pretty decently, I feel. But if it's good, like, there's a lot of potential with this. So let me know what you think of Sonic Frontiers. I know some people seem high on it. Some people seem low on it. Some people are kind of in the middle on it. I'm definitely high on this game, though. Like, I want it to be great, man. I want it to be great. And as always, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Maybe tell me your favorite Sonic the Hedgehog game of all time. I'm always going to go with Sonic 2. Like, it's probably nostalgia speaking, but like even that soundtrack is just... Oil Ocean is one of the most underrated songs. Now. Like, that song goes hard. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.